Beats craze.
Rebels arose who were determined to carry the fight to Jerusalem.
The Sicarii.
To the Sicarii, anyone who wasn't fighting the Romans was a collaborator and worthy of death.
Many were slain every day, and the fear of anybody was worse than the calamity itself.
Craze.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to say, call halal Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's all praises to the Most High God in the name of His only begotten Son. All right, so Brother Alazar Maloya. I want to today tackle the topic of the law of the stranger. It's a topic shrouded in much controversy amongst the quote-unquote Hebrew Israelite community. You know, people like to say it means this, it means that. What I want to do is go into and observe, because there's different aspects to the laws of the stranger. Number one, there's different words that appear in reference to strangers in different contexts. So what I want to do is take a look at it on the most elementary level, and I want to compare it to some laws that exist in today's world, so we can get a better understanding of exactly what the law of the stranger in the particular instances that we're going to go to is in reference to. Okay, all through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, of course. Okay, the first scripture I'd like to go to is Exodus 12 and 19. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. Okay, let's just key in on this. It says whether he be a stranger or born in the land. Okay, keep that in mind. Put a pin in that. All right, we're going to skip to verse 43, still here in Exodus 12. And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof. So wait a minute. It's talking about the keeping of the Passover. That's what this whole chapter, Exodus the 12th chapter, is about. It tells us in 19, it's alluding to a stranger having to uphold the statutes of the Passover and not eat of anything leavened, and if he does, he would have to receive the consequence of being cut off from the congregation of Israel, right? But then it's telling us that they can't even follow the ordinance because they can't eat the Passover. So is this a contradiction? No. We're looking at two different examples of a stranger, and to further prove that, we're going to skip up here to the 48th verse and read to the 49th verse. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord. But wait a minute, the stranger cannot eat thereof. So we're already seeing two different types of strangers. And it says, and when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth with you. So again, it's letting us know that a stranger can eat, just like somebody who is born in the land. But again, it says here that no stranger shall eat thereof. So what it's talking about is a Hebrew Israelite that was born outside of Israel. That's why it is contrasting between a stranger and one that is born in the land. And it says that the stranger that shall eat shall be as one that is born in the land. Okay, when the stranger, right, he shall be as one that is born in the land after he becomes circumcised. Okay, it's not that he is not an Israelite patrilineally. He's an Israelite patrilineally, but he was born outside of Israel. So he has to come sojourn amongst his people back in his original homeland. And when he's sojourning, he got to keep our customs of eating the Passover. But in order to eat the Passover, one must be circumcised. A stranger that is not patrilineally an Israelite, There might be an Edomite, a Moabite, an Ammonite, a Hamite. They cannot eat of the Passover. But a stranger that is born outside of the land that's an Israelite can, all right? Some people may argue with that interpretation. Some people might not like that. But we're going to further prove it precept upon precept and taking a look and applying the practicality of laws that exist in sovereign countries today, okay, to just further prove it and to get a better scope of the understanding of what this is talking about. Here's Leviticus 25, starting at 35. And if thy brother be waxen poor, and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him, yea, though he be a stranger. This is talking about your brother. A brother, as we know, is the child of your people. Real quick, Leviticus 19:17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. So your brother and your neighbor are synonymous with each other according to the biblical definition. Verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord Yahweh. So the Most High is clearly defining that your neighbor and your brother is the child of your people. Okay, so again, back here to Leviticus 25, start back at 35. And if thy brother, a Hebrew Israelite, be waxing poor and fallen in decay with thee, then thou shalt relieve him. Yea, though he be a stranger or a sojourner, but this is thy brother, meaning an Israelite, pursuant to this verse. So Israelites were considered strangers or sojourners if we were born outside of the land and then had to come and sojourn amongst our people in our homeland of Israel. Okay, be a stranger or a sojourner that he may live with thee. Take thou no usury of him, which we already know the only people that you cannot take usury on is Israelites. The law clearly says that you could take usury on a heathen. You are only prohibited from taking usury or lending unto usury upon an Israelite. So this brother that's known as a stranger or a sojourner is somebody that's an Israelite. That's why you are forbidden to use usury upon him. So again, starting back at verse 36 here in Leviticus 25. Take thou no usury of him or increase, but fear thy power, that thy brother may live with thee. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor lend him thy victuals for increase. Okay, so that's only something that you are forbidden or prohibited to do to your brother, a fellow Israelite. You can do that to a heathen, somebody who is not an Israelite patrilineally. So we know that this stranger or sojourner is talking about an Israelite, just to give a Torah and biblical precedence for Israelites being looked at as strangers and sojourners to other Israelites. Okay, it's not a far-fetched concept. You people want to read the heathen into these things, but you can't do it, especially when we clearly are saying that your brother, which we know is defined as an Israelite, is known as a stranger or a sojourner that you cannot lend unto usury upon, which we know is, again, only prohibited to do to Israelites. Okay, let's go here to Deuteronomy 23, starting at verse 19. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother. Right, to thy brother. That's the only person. Again, so proving that the only person that you cannot lend usury onto is a fellow Israelite. Usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. Right? Unto a stranger, the stranger that is talking about is clearly not an Israelite. Right? Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury. Right? A non-Israelite. But as it says here that this same stranger is thy brother, meaning an Israelite. So there are Israelites that may be strangers or sojourners in Israel, or even different parts of Israel. Let's say you're from Judah, you sojourning up in the land of Naphtali. You're a sojourner and a stranger up there, because that's not where you're from. You're from the area of Judah. Okay, just like nowadays your cousin might come from down south, or you might go down south, visit your people down south. You're a stranger out there. You're not familiar with that. That's not the place where you're from. Okay, but that's still your brother. We still kinsmen. We still need to treat each other as if you're from the same region. Okay, because ultimately we all from ancient Israel, and we all come from the stock of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, so again, I'm going to start back at 19 here in Deuteronomy 23. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, a fellow Israelite. Usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. Unto a stranger, a non-Israelite, a heathen, thou mayest lend upon usury. So we clearly see that we have a stranger that's an Israelite and a stranger that is a non-Israelite that's being referred to in the law. So what we want to deal with today is the stranger that is an Israelite and why exactly he's deemed a stranger. Again, and then we're going to take a look at some modern day laws that exist that coincide with the ancient biblical laws that was in place that let us know that we have our people that would be considered strangers or sojourners that was born outside of Israel but still had the right to citizenship. Okay, again, start at verse 20. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother, a fellow Israelite, a fellow black, Hispanic, or native Indian, thou shalt not lend upon usury, that the Lord thy power may bless thee in all that thou settest thine hand to in the land whither thou goest to possess it. Okay, so we're not supposed to lend usury or put interest on something with our brother, but we can do that with the heathen, with the white man, with the Asian man, with the Hamitic man, with the Japhetic man. We could do these things to them, but we can't do that to one another. Okay, so the strangers that we are forbidden to do that for in Leviticus 25, 35 to 37 are our brothers that may have been born outside of the land of Israel. Okay, let's take a look at some practical laws that will further prove that. We here on the United States Department of Homeland Security website, and what we're looking at is citizenship through parents. Okay, citizenship through parents. And this is basically the same concept of the law of the stranger that we see. All right, let's read this real quick. There are two general ways to obtain citizenship through United States citizen parents: one at birth and one after birth, but before the age of 18. The term parents includes the genetic father, the genetic mother, the non-genetic gestational mother, if she is the legal parent at the time of birth under the law of the relevant jurisdiction. Okay, now real quick. So basically, you citizenship at birth for children born outside of the U.S. and its territories. This is laws that are currently on the books that the United States government has, to where if you were born to one or two U.S. citizens outside of the United States of America, you can still obtain United States citizenship. Okay, even if you say you were born in Germany, you know, but your parents are American. You see what I'm saying? Like, for example, my uncle was born in France, but at the time, my grandfather and my grandmother's from America, and then, you know, my grandfather had his citizenship. You see what I'm saying? Really, he was born in America after his family came from Haiti, but they had moved to France. But my uncle that was born out there, he got his citizenship when they came back to America. You see what I'm saying? He was young. He was only a few years old when they came back to America. So he got a citizenship because both of his parents had United States citizenship. So he had the right to that. All right? And we're going to go into the technicalities of the law. But according to the United States, he would have still been considered a stranger because he wasn't born here, but he was born to people who had their right here. You see what I'm saying? Who had their right of citizenship here. But let me go into this. In general, a child born outside of the United States is a citizen at birth when the child's parents are married to each other at the time of birth. If both parents are U.S. citizens at the time of birth, at least one parent lived in the United States or its territories prior to the birth. One parent is a United States citizen at the time of birth, and the birthday is on or after November 14, 1986. In general, a child born outside of the United States is a citizen at birth when the child's parents are not married to each other at the time of birth, if the genetic or non-genetic gestational legal mother is a United States citizen at the time of birth, and the birth date is after December 23, 1952. The genetic father is a United States citizen at the time of birth. The mother is an alien, and the birth date is on or after November 14th, 1986. So, as we see, the United States has things to where, okay, if your father is a citizen and he was born outside of the country, you know, he could be a citizen, or your mother. You see what I'm saying? So, the United States has, you know, similar laws on the book. I don't want to go into every single detail of everything, but, you know, the United States has a law to where somebody who was born outside of America can be treated just as somebody who was born inside of America if their parents were, in fact, legal citizens of the United States of America. Okay, just like we had in ancient Israel. All right, this is another one. This is via the travelstate.gov. So it's a government, United States official government website in reference to travel. Okay, this is called acquisition of United States citizenship by a child born abroad. Birth abroad to two U.S. citizen parents in wedlock. A child born abroad to two United States citizens parents acquires United States citizenship at birth under Section 301C of the Immigration and Nationality Act, provided that one of the parents had a residence in the United States or one of its outlying possessions prior to the child's birth. The child is considered to be born in wedlock for the purposes of citizenship acquisition when the genetic or gestational parents are legally married to each other at the time of the child's birth, and both parents are the legal parents of the child under local law at the time and place of birth. Right? So it said, look, if you have your two parents, they marry, and one of your parents has a residence or property that he owns in the United States, you all good, right? Now, in ancient Israel, we know that the stranger would come sojourn with the widows, the fatherless, the orphans, and the priests and things of that nature, because your parents may not have land. They might have sold their land or whatever in ancient Israel, but you could still come to Israel and still be accepted according to the law as an Israelite because your parents patrilineally were Israelites. Okay, so you still had a right. So you still were taken care of in one of the cities of refuge. You see what I'm saying? Even if you didn't have necessarily an allotment amongst your tribe to go and dwell in, you could go dwell in the cities of refuge. You see what I'm saying? We had those things set up. Okay, let me go into another one though. Birth abroad to one citizen and one alien parent in wedlock. Okay, a child born abroad to one United States citizen parent and one alien parent acquires United States citizenship at birth under Section 301G of the INA, provided that the United States citizen parent was physically present in the United States or in one of its outlying possessions for the time period required by the law applicable at the time of the child's birth. For birth on or after November 14, 1986, a period of 5 years physical presence to after the age of 14 is required. For birth between December 24th, 1952 and November 13th, 1986, a period of 10 years, 5 after the age of 14 is required of physical presence in the United States or one of the outlawing possessions to transmit United States citizenship to the child. The United States citizen parent must be the genetic or gestational parent and legal parent at the time, a legal parent of the child under local law at the time and place of the child's birth to transmit United States citizenship. So we have that. Even birth abroad to an out of wedlock to United States citizen father. Okay, even this exists, and this is basically what we had in Israel, because we know how we determine how somebody was an Israelite. Okay, let me go to that real quick. Numbers 1 and 18, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old upward by their polls. So this is how you would have citizenship in ancient Israel. If you can prove that your father was an Israelite, this would gain you citizenship, just like the United States has this law in the books dealing with birth abroad out of wedlock to United States citizen father. The same thing we have here in the scriptures. You were born outside of the land, right, to an Israelite man, so you would have citizenship in the land of Israel. Okay, you would have to be treated as one that was born in Israel, though you were born abroad. Now, confusion arose, trouble arose. A lot of our people looked down and resented our brothers who were born outside of the land. So the stranger was vexed and the stranger was oppressed. We read about that later on in the prophecies when it's listed the many sins that we were committing in the land. That was one of them. And it wasn't the oppression of a heathen or somebody from outside of the nation of Israel. It was the oppression of our own brothers that were born abroad.
You feeling like I'm American too. I mean, my parents Haitian and I'm Haitian of Haitian descent. I speak Creole and all that, but I'm American too. Like, what the fuck? Like, why can't I have the same shit you got? Why can't I be on the same plateau on you? Like, what the fuck make me any different from you?
I mean, you run into the African Americans, you know, y'all bump heads. You got them projects by the school by we was at, Largemont Project, nothing but Americans, you know, and there was this little bridge a nigga couldn't cross. The shortcut was crossing that bridge, but if you wanted to cross that bridge, you had to get your ass kicked. So if you ain't want to walk the long way home, nigga like, man, fuck it, man. Nigga rather get the ass kicked than walking the long way home. Eventually, ass kicking don't mean nothing no more. Niggas got used to that. We start throwing them hands back.
The Haitians were often bullied by other children.
They catch a vulnerable Haitian person that's walking to or from class or to or from school, and a mob of kids will jump on them for no reason at all.
See, in those days, because of those things was happening to Haitians on Fridays, they called Haitian Fridays, they would jump the Haitians.
Jean remembers one fight when he was 12.
I was in the lunch line, and a kid decided to skip me. He was a bigger kid, so he kind of did me up really well. But I stood there and I fought toe to toe. And I got hurled. I mean, I was called Haitian, stank, cat eater, everything under the sun.
John and his friends realized they were tougher together than alone. In 1990, they formed Zopound.
Zopound was created my 11th grade year because now you run the risk of you getting jumped.
Those people put their minds together and formed a unit and said, we're not gonna go down like that. We ain't finna let these people take over us and make us no slaves.
As we see again, there's a differentiation here in Exodus 12 and 19. Whether he be a stranger or born in the land, whether he be one that was estranged to Israel, but still an Israelite, but born outside of Israel, or one that was born within Israel. It's the same principle and the same concept. Again, this 1 Chronicles 23 and 14 to further prove that the way we determine if one had a national inherited rights in Israel was if his father was an Israelite. This says, now concerning Moses, the man of the Most High, the man of Yahweh, his sons were named of the tribe of Levi. Now his wife was an Ethiopian, a Cushite, okay, who come from the people of Ham and Cush, right? But his children were called the sons of Levi, because that's how we determine who you were, what your nationality was. If your father was an Israelite of the various tribes. So Moses was a Hebrew Israelite of the tribe of Levi, therefore his children were, his sons were. Okay, irregardless of who their mother was, they had rights to citizenship within the land of Israel. Okay? This is Romans 11 and 16. For if the first fruit be holy, the lump is also holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches. So if you come from the stock and the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you are holy. You see what I'm saying? That's how the Most High gave his chosen elect line. Through Abraham, and then through Isaac, and then through Jacob. So you are holy. Therefore, you have inherited rights and citizenship in Israel, irregardless of where geographically you were born on the planet Earth. Okay? But our people got away from that. And we see even elements of that existing now, but our people got away from that. And that's what the whole concept of the bringing in of the Gentiles is about in the New Testament. By taking Israelites that were born abroad, that may have lost their heritage, discontinued from their heritage, and picked up the heritage of the heathen, which they dwelt around, to come back to their land, to come back to their heritage, laws, statutes, and commandments that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua gave to us. Okay, that's what it's all about. Okay, so the stranger that it's talking about, okay, when it's comparing it to one that is born in the land, is a Hebrew Israelite that was born outside of Israel. Okay, and they were given place, they were given raiment, they were given food in the cities of refuge amongst the widows and the orphans and the priests, so on and so forth. Okay, because they had that inherited right. All right, being of the stock of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If you're of the stock of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you have a right to the land of Israel. You have a right to partake in the heritage of your foreparents, thus saith the Most High. Okay, but I hope that made sense and brothers received that, and any cloudiness or blurriness or confusion that existed and surrounded this topic was cleared up. But the stranger that it is referring to in the instances that was referenced in this video are Hebrew Israelites born outside of Israel. Okay, then you have other laws that deal with other strangers that are not Hebrew Israelites at all, that are of other nations. Okay, you can lend to them usury. You could do things to them that you could never do to one of your own brothers. Okay, because they are not of the holy seed. We are of that first fruit that be holy. You see what I'm saying? So I hope brothers again got some clarification through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. With that, shalom.
MDOMG.